Morning, it's Audrey, Stitchin Witch 42. It is Monday. It's Monday. I was getting ready for the video and I had the calendar out and yeah, it's Monday. It's 2019. Does that help? It's a Monday in 2019. It's a Monday in January in 2019. We're getting closer. Obviously, I have not had enough coffee yet. Okay, so I have a book, I have stuff, I have stories to tell, things to do, and hopefully you'll stick around and listen to me. Because some of you people are crazy and do that, and I love it, okay? I want to start by saying I hope everyone had a great weekend, had a fantastic weekend. I actually got to have yesterday off because Saturday night was the second Harry Potter party at a coffee and bar venue in Salem. They did this last year and they decorated the place to the nines and and 3/4, and it was fantastic. And then a couple weeks ago, I noticed that they had posted on Facebook that they were going to do year 2 Chamber of Secrets. So I got my son and daughter to go with me this time. Aaron went last time. This time it was both Aaron and Philip. And when I got there, they dropped me off so I could get a line and save a place because there was a little bit of line out front. Voldemort was in line. So was Bellatrix. It was great. It was great. We got to walk through the platform again. People were being sorted. They had the upstairs of the shop decorated. They had a downstairs area that had a lounge and a little bar in there, and that's where we spent the most of the evening. People running around in costume, lots of muggles. They had a gentleman standing outside the shop selling wands. We didn't buy any of their wands. I have my own wand maker. Thank you very much. I wanted to share something he created about 4 years ago for our granddaughters, because in my house we do Harry Potter. In my house we do The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. In my house we do Star Wars. We do Star Trek. We are nerds, we are geeks, and I am so damn proud of it I can't even begin to tell you. But about 4 years ago, the girls, Rowan and Riley, who are currently 11 and 10, they're about to change to 12 and 11, they wanted wands. And they came and told me that they wanted wands. What's a grandma to do when her granddaughters say, we want wands? Well, I went to the wand maker, the man who made my Hobbit door, and I said, the girls want wands. Now, if you've watched my videos for any length of time, you know that Mark used to make handmade knives. So he's got a lot of tools and he's got a lot of interesting things out in his shop for creating magical wands for little girls. And about the same time, the people that live on the north side of us had sold their house to a guy who was flipping it, and he did a bunch of trimming on the maple tree between the houses. So there was this big stack of maple wood out there. And I came home one day and they were getting ready to haul it off to the dump. And I said, before you do that, I said, I need to look for a couple of limbs. And the guy was really nice, and he goes, what do you need it for? I said, well, I have to make wands. And he was like, okay. And he helped me find 2 nice branches to use for making wands. So I brought those branches inside and they sat here for a couple of days, and I came home one day and Mark had made these 2 wands, and he goes, I need something to wrap around the handles. Grandma has floss, and since I already knew which houses the girls were going to be sorted into, I got coordinating floss. So what my husband, the wand maker, made for the oldest granddaughter, Rowan, is a maple wand with a warthog tusk. And the floss that was used on it was red and gold, because she's my brave one. She was definitely my Gryffindor girl. So this was the first wand made by Grandpa. The second wand made by Grandpa is also maple wood, but on this one he put a piece of walrus ivory and a piece of fossil coral, and this one was wrapped with blue and bronze because Miss Riley is my little smart one. She is my Ravenclaw. So I had a ton of fun this weekend at this Harry Potter party with my daughter and my son. I had to share the wands that were made by Grandpa for granddaughters about 4 years ago. And I had yesterday off and I slept most of the day because this grandma is just getting too old to party all night like a house elf. Anyway, welcome to my world. I posted a picture about a week and a half ago because I finally hit 999 subscribers. I know that everybody does, well, not everybody, a lot of people do giveaways when they hit milestones, 250, 500, 750, 1,000, 1,500, so on and so forth. I've never done that. I've never done that. But I will. Just not right now. My husband's job, he is a truck driver for a paving company. And during the winter when they don't work, he gets employment benefits. And this year they have kind of made him run circles around all over the place, and he hasn't been paid for the entire month of January. So things are tight. Not unbearably tight. We have a little bit of money set aside, but you know, to not get 4 paychecks, yeah. I know there's a lot of people out there who work for the government who are going through the same thing, and at least there's an end to ours. Anyway, I will do a giveaway, just not right now. It'll probably be about a month or so when things get back to normal. So I want to thank everybody for watching, liking, subscribing. I'm over 999 now, but that's the number that I wanted to focus on. So there is a giveaway coming some point in the future. I have projects. I have some purchases and I have some people to talk about. So let's get started. Hold on. I still need coffee. It's light outside, but it's early for me. All right. Coffee out of the way so I don't spill it on anything. I'm going to kind of do a whip parade of sorts, I guess. Yeah, sure, why not? We'll call it that. I am going to start with my oldest piece. It's my Alphonse Mucha, and it is a focus piece for me this year. If you have watched previous videos, I did one just on my Alphonse Muchas. This is the third one that I have done, and 18 pages. I have 12 complete. The last 6 are going to be really, really dark in their palette. And I have been slacking. When I did the first one for my daughter, it took 13 months. When I did the second one for myself, it took 11 months. I started this one on May the 4th, be with you, 2017. And if possible, I would love to have it done before May the 4th, be with you, 2019. But as long as I finish it in 2019, I'm going to take that as a goal. Michelle Ruedy is doing her Stitch 9 challenge. I don't have 9 projects, and I realize you don't have to have 9 projects. You just have to have 9 projects that you want to complete. I'm not going to join that challenge. I've decided to make my own, and my own is going to be my hashtag Stitch 1. hashtag finish one challenge. So here is Alphonse Mucha, the moon. And she's on her scroll rod, so I'm going to try to reveal her slowly. Lots of colors, lots of blends. I think there's like 98 colors in her. Oops. And as you see, as she gets down further, it gets darker and darker. This is hard to do. And this is where I am at. This line right here is the break between pages 10, 11, and 12. This is page 13. And I decided that Fridays was going to be my day to work on her. If I worked on her more than that, great. But Fridays I had to get some stitches into her. And normally, the way I stitch this is I started at the top and I went across all the way, and then I work back and forth down, and I do it in about 30 row sections, going back and forth across. When I got down here to this section, I thought I need to do something different because the other was, I wasn't seeing enough happen. So I decided on this page to take a color and work down, and take a color and work down, and take a color and work down, and take a color and work down. So this whole section here, these spots right here, that is the edge of a page. That right there is the bottom of the page. I have done all of this in 5 days. So I can do it. It is going to be my hashtag finish one project. If anybody else wants to join along, they can. But I don't have 9. And as much as I love Michelle, I can't do that. I go a little bit crazy in my brain thinking about that. So that's my first project. My next project. I have to show you something I bought for myself. I went to Hobby Lobby and I found this tote. Original price was $15.99. Got it on sale for $8.99, and it's perfect for me to have sitting next to my chair in the living room with all my projects in it, because before I just had everything piled up on my stool, and yeah, that wasn't working for me anymore. So in my Helen bag is Midnight Journey. Okay, you guys, come on and work with me. There's Midnight Journey. I've got the 3 sets of reindeer done. I've got the majority of the sleigh done. I am back here. I am working on the rest of the packages in Santa's sleigh, and then he needs to be backstitched. And then above it will be the moon, and this will be done. I'm sure I will have it done in plenty of time to have the mantle scarf I want to make out of it completed by Christmas. That's my goal. It's going to happen. I have to put things back together because it's what you do. My palette of colors. All right, Midnight Journey. Okay, I have a finish. I think this is my second start of this year and my third finish. I did an FFO Ghoul. It's still sitting upstairs. My plan was I was going to do it yesterday, but I was so wiped out from the Harry Potter party that I just kind of rested all day long. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. So, my second start, my third finish, is Rest Thy Scissors by Notforgotten Farm. This is on 36 count Opal Edinburgh from Picture This Plus. And, you know, I needed a big piece of fabric. Jolynn up at Acorns and Threads had stitched this, and she finished it, and the pattern shows it in this little box. Well, her husband made a box like that to finish hers. So when she said that and that he would make more, I decided that rather than FFO this one myself, I know I can. I'm going to take it up to her at the next meetup and have her finish it and have her husband make a box for it and just have it done by somebody else, because why not? Why not? On Instagram, Stacy Postal Stitcher, she asked me a question. She wanted to know, inquiring minds wanted to know what color, what DMC color my husband was painting his Jeep. I hadn't thought about that. So I grabbed my floss chart and I took it out, and he's doing it in a blue. $7.98. That one right there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The seventh one down from the top in the blues, if you have your chart handy. And you want to know what color my husband is painting his Jeep. Because why not? Everything we do has some coordination with, you know, stitching. My husband has painted his Jeep in 798 blue. There you go. More coffee is needed. Last week I was on the computer. I was on Facebook. And I got a message from Nikki, Kanicki's Prims and Whims. And so we were messaging back and forth on Facebook. Most of the time when I'm on Facebook, I'm playing backgammon. That's what I do. I lurk in the groups and I watch things going on in the groups, and occasionally I comment. But most of the time I'm on the computer, I'm playing backgammon. That's what I do. Anyway, she contacted me and we're messaging back and forth, and she wanted to know if I wanted to stitch with her. Well, yeah, but how do you do that? FaceTime. Oh, how do you do that? So she messaged me again, only this time I was on my phone, and showed me how to set up my phone so that we could sit and stitch together. And it was a blast. We must have chatted for an hour and a half, something like that. I don't know. But the whole time we were chatting, I was working on her piece that I'm stitching. She made Winterberry Snowmen, and she has a stitch along going on Instagram. And I mentioned, it's on the floor. I mentioned on Instagram that I have a secret. So I'm going to tell you what my secret is. I'm stitching with her, and I'm doing the white of the snowman, the first snowman head. And I'm just stitching along because it's what you do. You're talking and you're stitching and you're talking and you're stitching. And then I looked at the pattern and I thought, oh, Snowman's supposed to have pink cheeks. And I looked at where I was at and I realized I missed part of the spot where the snowman's supposed to have pink cheeks. I don't want to unpick it. I'm stitching 1 over 2. So I stitched over it. And yeah, it's really, really hard to see. But there's pink cheeks there and there's pink cheeks there. And I missed it, so I stitched over it. And then when I came up to start this one, you can see the pink a little bit better there. I did the same thing. I had 3 rows of the pink cheeks stitched in white, so I just stitched over it. It may be a thing. I might have to do it in every single one of them. Whether it's on purpose or not, I don't know. But this is where I am at with Winterberry Snowmen. I had so much fun sitting and stitching and chatting with her. I had never done that before. So it's kind of cool. I learned something new. Alrighty. And the last piece that I have to show you, but it's not the end of my story for today, is, no, I lied, that's not the last piece I have to show you. The next piece I have to show you is Little Shop of Horrors. This is also stitched on 36 count linen. Rest Thy Scissors, Winterberry Snowmen, and Little Shop of Horrors, all 3 of them I am stitching on 36 count linen, 1 over 2. It seemed to be a thing that I started to do this year. But anyway, Little Shop of Horrors. I got this pattern from the Witchy Stitcher. Had to have it because Audrey. And this is where I'm at with it. So when I started this one, because normally what I do is I stitch 2 over 2, I stitched the heart up here 2 over 2. And I stitched the 2 sets of leaves here, and I was starting to work on the black in between them, and I was doing it all 2 over 2, and I was thinking, that looks really bulky. And it dawned on me that I'm stitching on 36 count, and I was planning on doing 1 over 1. So I took out the leaves here and the leaves here and the black in the center, but I left the heart 2 over 2. And then everything else is 1 over 1 with the called for colors. And this one, right now this one is just a lot of straight stitches. So what I'm doing with it is 1 strand of color at a time to get all the straight stitches out of the way, because otherwise it kind of drives me crazy. It's a short drive sometimes. It's a short drive sometimes. I have to pause you for a second because I need to go get someone. Hold on. I'm back. Okay, so I've said in this house we do Harry Potter and we do The Hobbit and we do Lord of the Rings and we do Star Wars. And if you know Michelle Garrett, because who doesn't know Michelle Garrett? I honestly think of all the people that I have watched on FlossTube, she is probably mentioned by more people than anybody else I know. And I think that that's a good thing because she's an amazing lady, all the different things that she does and doing the charities now, and she is a good soul. But if you know Michelle Garrett, you know that her Star Wars character is Han Solo. She has a thing for him. She has a tattoo of him. She has needle minders of him. I get that. I have a Star Wars character too. And the other day I was watching Holly and Anita. And I love these ladies. And if you haven't seen their newest video, you have to go watch it because Holly shares her love for the same character that I love. And I have a story to tell. Because it's what I do. Many, many years ago in the late 80s, I had a Chevy Celebrity. And in my Chevy Celebrity, I had a little figurine that I carried with me. I had got it in a Burger King kids meal, I think it was. It was Yoda. And I put him in my car because, help you drive, I will. He said so. And he went everywhere with me. And then one day, somebody, some little creep, stole my car out of my driveway. Apparently, that year of Chevy Celebrities, that was really easy to pop the locks and hotwire them. And that's what they did. And about 3 days later, the police found my car about 10 miles from our house. They had driven it over a hill and they tried to set fire to the inside of it. We got the car back. It wasn't usable. Oh, they broke out all the windows too. It wasn't usable. It wasn't drivable. So we ended up replacing it. And we got most of the items that were in my car back, but we didn't get Yoda back. And that pissed me off. I was mad about the car, but they took Yoda. A few years later, a shop opened up in Salem. One of those toy shops that you go into and you can find all the toys from your past. The Easy Bake Ovens and the Incredible Edible Machines. I had both of those. But I found a brand new, in the box, Yoda. And again, help you drive, I will. He went into my car and he has been in my car ever since. Now, when my granddaughters were littles and still in their car seats, Miss Rowan is probably the most mellow baby I've ever known. She was just mellow. I'd pick her up, I'd put her car seat in the car, and I would hand Yoda to her, and she would sit there and she would play with him, and occasionally she would suck on his ear. Because, you know, you can. And then when Riley was born and I had both the babies back there, I'd give her Yoda and she'd play with them and occasionally suck on his ear. And I would tell both of them that Yoda had to stay in my car because he helps me drive. As they got a little bit older and their car seats changed, I put a basket in the back of the car that had toys with them in there, and their toys they could play with, but they had to stay in the car. And I told them, if you want to, you can play with Yoda, but he has to stay in the car because he helps me drive. A few years ago, I was taking them somewhere. They're out of their car seats, obviously, and they're talking in the back, and I can't remember which one said it, but it made me grin. You know, we can play with Yoda, but we have to leave him in the car because he helps Grandma drive. Yes. Yes. My girls know. Yoda helps me drive. So Holly puts on this Yoda mask, and this flashed in front of me. I mean, this flashed in front of me, this story. And then Anita was talking about the word. There are a lot of people that instead of doing a resolution this year, they have come up with a word to work towards, to embody what they want to accomplish this year. Anita's word was anchor. Made me think of my daughter. And I thought, okay, I've been listening to people talk about their words. I need to come up with one. And I thought, my word could be try. No. Because we all know that Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try. My word is do. I am going to do something new. I am going to do something different. I am going to do something more healthy. I am going to do something more fit. I am going to do something more active. So now that I know my word, I needed a pattern. And I went on the internet and I found a pattern, and I don't have a cover sheet, so I'm going to flash this really fast. Do or do not. There is no try. I have to get the fabric for it, but I'm going to get that stitched. It's going to be something that I come up with to get started here real soon, because I need to have do or do not. There is no try. That is my word. So I have shown you my tote bag, which was a purchase this month. I have shown you my pattern, which was a pattern or a purchase this month. I purchased a new project bag, not because I needed it, but because she showed it and I loved the fabric, from my favorite seamstress, my crybaby, my Vicky. The inside of it has moons and bats, and yeah, this is just gorgeous. When she showed this on Instagram, I contacted her right away and I said, yeah, this is the one I need. I don't need them. I have more project bags than I have projects. But they keep showing pretties and I keep buying them. It's what I do. The last item that I purchased is also a new project, because why not? I used to be monogamous, and then all of you happened, and I am not going to get to the point where I can do a Stitch 9 challenge. I'm not going to. I'm not. Do not tempt me. God. Oh my God. Okay. So I did the giveaway at the end of the year, the little book that went to Belinda. And I said that I had seen more of these books at Joann's, and I couldn't remember for sure if they still had them because I hadn't looked at them for a while. Well, a couple of days later, I went into Salem. I had to get some mat board to finish Ghoul. Mat board's in the living room. Ghoul is upstairs. I was going to do it yesterday, but I didn't. So I went into Joann's to see if I could find any of those books. Now, the ones that I did, the one that I stitched and gave away to Belinda was a little one about the size of my hand, so I'm thinking 4 by 5 maybe. And when I went to Joann's, I saw that they do have them. They have their 8 by 9. Let me check my notes because I wrote it down somewhere I wrote it down. But because I want it, I cannot find it. Doesn't matter. So anyway, I'm standing there and I'm looking at these books and I'm thinking, you know, this is the back of it. It's got a much bigger place to stitch on. And while the smaller one, I liked it. It worked great for the little pattern that I found for it. And it would work great for putting little motifs on it or something like that. This one has more space to stitch on, which means I could do a bigger design, which meant that I had to buy myself a book. And of course, I immediately came home and I'm searching through my magazines to try to find a pattern and I found her, and she fit. This is a pattern from the 2014 Just Cross Stitch Halloween. Isn't it fun to be a witch by Julia Manfredini? It's a confident beginner level, so I can do it. I pulled all the flosses for her and I started stitching her last night because obviously 4 projects isn't enough. I must have 5. I'm not getting to 9. I'm not getting to 9. Stop laughing. I'm not getting to 9. If you don't stop laughing, I'm not going to show her. So I've done a little bit of a color conversion on her because I needed a blonde witch. And I wanted her to have green skin. When I stitched her head last night, I thought she looked like Voldemort. I mean, it was green and it was flat and she doesn't have a nose. Voldemort was at the Harry Potter party Saturday night. What can I say? I was thinking about him. And the guy actually looked pretty good. But yeah. This is the book that I am stitching for myself so that I can have a journal to put my stitching in for 2019 and however long it lasts. So this book was $10.99 at Joann's. I know that they have them at Hirschner's also, and I think they were, I had written down on my notes that they were like $9.09 if you bought it through Hirschner's, but then you'd be paying shipping. So if you're interested, you can get them at Joann's or you can order them from Hirschner's. Alrighty. I need to wrap this up. I'm at 38 minutes. I've been watching some new people to me. They've been mentioned before, the Sassy Stitching Sisters and Brother, the Sunshine Stitchers. God, I love them. I love them so much. Every Home Needs a Gnome, Brandie, Rustic Threads, Hilary. And then there was a new mother-daughter set that I had to watch because of their name. They are